yet. They chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands, never on its knees. A nation born in the forge of the free. From the rigs to the rails, the crops to the code, we lit their streets, we bore their load. They laughed at pride, they mocked the West, but freedom don't die, it just waits for the test. The cowboys ride, the farmers rise, 5 million strong under open skies. No leash, no lie, no foreign throne. This land is steel and it stands alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands, never on its knees. A nation born in the forge of the free. Can't kill the mountain, can't drown the plain, can't burn the spirit that won't be chained. He stares down east with a calloused hand and says, this time we draw the line in the land. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line.
Whoa! Welcome. It's 7-Eleven Daily Summary. So excited to be here with you. What an awesome night, don't you think? I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. And just give me 1 second here. I got to do something quickly because I continue to forget this. And Sam Anthony is wondering where the heck is the link for this guy, because he said he was going to start the show and he keeps forgetting to put the link in here. All right, Sam, there you go. I'm sending off the link right now. And there we are, adding to yournews.com. All right, welcome to 7-Eleven Daily Summary. So excited to be here. You know, you go through your ebbs and flows of energy, high energy, low energy, whatever. We have got to stay, we got to keep our eyes on the prize, you know. It's an exciting time because I'm sure that you've paying attention. I'm sure that you're paying attention that Alberta is about to strike out on its own for our sovereignty to create our own nation, the way that Norway did and left Sweden, the way many other nations, you know, eventually carve out their own nation, their own opportunities for their own people. And we need everybody on board. We need everybody to jump on board. And you know, this is not us against them. And I want to remind everybody, it's not us against them, because the the opportunities that we're going to have are going to be so beneficial to everyone. Uh, l- you've heard the saying where everyone goes up because the tide rises, all the boats are buoyed, and this is going to assist everyone in the province, everyone in our midst, everyone in our vicinity. And it looks like we have lots of other, I guess, compatriots. Saskatchewan is now saying that they want to strike out. They want to go on their own. Quebec is obviously in the running to be its own nation, and always has been, or has been for a long time. So exciting times. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. If you are watching, I appreciate you, and make sure to share this out. Get some more eyeballs on this information so we can wake more people up, and we can, obviously work together. We also need all the voices. Again, this is going back to the divide that the globalists want. They want us divided. They want us fighting, and I urge you to continue to look at it like we need to identify our enemy. We have to identify the body, the the perpetuator, the perpetrator of the divide, the fighting, and that would be the globalists. Mark Carney's definitely in the boat with that one, but the UN, the WEF, maybe even CCPs, a part of that. They are definitely in control of a lot of our politicians. So I have to say that they're a big part of that. But anyway, keep your eyes on the prize. Make sure that we are all going in the right direction. We want a better nation, province, whatever you want to call it at this point, for everyone. And whether you believe in certain things from a conservative standpoint or not, I don't really care. If you're a different religion, I don't care, because prosperity, success, education for our children, and helping the next generation is good for everybody. So anyway, we're going to move on here, and we're going to unscrew some news together. I appreciate you being here. Let me just take a sip 1 second. All right. I need to lubricate those vocal cords so we can continue. Anyway, let's get into it. As usual, I want to say thank you. I want to thank God for my opportunities. I want to thank God for the challenges that we faced over the last 5 years and shaped me and Unscrew the News into what it is today. And we are going to continue to bash heads on the mainstream media because they are paid, they are globalists, they are liars, and please just we've got to wake up people to the lies and the propaganda and the garbage. And they're so distracted and so brainwashed from this garbage that is over on that big screen, that a lot of people continue to watch. But anyway, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you for participating. I want to thank my family for helping to hone me, and going through this process has honed some skills for me. And also, like I've said many, many, many times, I am not your investment advisor, but I do suggest getting gold and silver. Gold is a fantastic place to put your money. Silver, I think, is even better. The upside of silver, and actually holding real money. And don't forget, this is real money. That fiat stuff that we put into our wallet and take out of the ATM, that's not real money. And gold and silver have been around for thousands and thousands of years, helping families when things, in markets don't work out. The fiat currency evaporates, and we move on to some sort of different, market, different currencies. Gold and silver is always there. Anyway, get your gold and silver at nuggetstacker.com. Go right through my website, unscrewthenews.com. Go down to their link, click on it, and you'll get a bit of a discount. If you have any questions, 1-866-644-2121. All right, let's get into it. Let's unscrew some news together, you guys. I'm coming to you from the heart of the battle-ready nation of Alberta. We bring you truth and optimism. Our goal is to break free from the media globalist mind control. It is December 13th, 2025, and this is episode number 237. Can you believe it? 237. I guess that's close to a year of doing these daily summaries, but I kind of started just after Trump got into office, so I guess that makes sense. Anyway, this is called MAID, MAID, which is medical assistance in dying, and a big proponent of drawing attention to this is this Kelsi Sheren. Kelsi, if you are listening or if you know Kelsi, please reach out to her. I would love to have her on. I have talked about MAID with a number of people that, or as many as I could, that are in touch with it or in the industry. I would like to talk more about it because I think this is a scourge that is sweeping over Canada and other countries as well. But so I called this MAID, Kelsi Sheren, and Other Nonsense. We're going to start off with Other Nonsense, and then we'll get into some serious stuff on MAID. So let me just bring this up for you. All right, so much is going on. This is why I'm here, to bring you maybe something that you may not have seen. I try to put it into one little show. We can talk about it and have some opinions about it and discuss it. And again, I'm always looking for your comments. If you have any comments, please reach out to me through X, through Rumble, through Twitter, through YouTube. I'm also on Twitch. And let me see. Well, you probably can't reach me on yournews.com, but you'll find me live there. I'm also on Telegram. I think I'm live there right now. But anyway, love to hear comments. You can email me also at unscrewthenews@proton.me, or you can go right through my website. Anyway, we're going to talk about this guy here because so much is going on. I think the layers of the onion are finally coming off, and I think that we'll hopefully be getting to some of the good stuff. Again, I'm not going to hold my breath because we have felt this way before. Do you feel this way? Like, there's a big run up to the. Whoa! Somebody's calling me. I gotta say goodbye. What are you doing? You can't call me now. Fergus, I'm just in a show. I'll have to let you go. Okay, talk to you later. Fergus Hudson calling me during the show. Anyway, Fergus, I appreciate you calling me. Let's talk a little bit later. All right. Anyway, so much is going on. And I wanted to say it's crazy because there's all this excitement about stuff that's actually happening, and then nobody gets arrested, nobody goes to jail, nobody is held accountable for any of it. So I'm going to turn my attention to the U.S. and this just came out. I saw this. Well, I guess it's been posted 7 hours ago, but it's official. President Trump's DOJ just filed a lawsuit against Fulton County, Georgia, seizing all 2020 ballots. 2020 was stolen. More proof is coming. Tina Peters, is on the cusp of being let out. And my friend there, Fergus, who lives in Colorado, would love to hear his thoughts on Tina Peters and what's going on, if he knows anything about that. But let's listen to this. This looks like it's from a news outlet. I'm not really sure what it is, but stand by.
Well, tonight, the Justice Department is now suing Fulton County to get access to ballots from the 2020 election. It is the latest move in a long dispute between President Donald Trump and Georgia election officials. Trump still claims widespread fraud impacted the 2020 election, but multiple recounts in Fulton County confirmed President Joe Biden's narrow win. The DOJ is now asking a federal judge to intervene after the state elections board said Fulton County refused to comply with a subpoena seeking election materials. Those include all used and void ballots, signature envelopes, and digital files. The county says ballots are sealed and require a court order to be released. We asked Fulton County election officials for comment. They said they do not comment on pending lawsuits.
Isn't that funny? It happens obviously here in Alberta and in our city and in our country. Isn't it funny how these criminals, they continue to say, "Oh, well, we did a recount and there was nothing found. We didn't find any corruption whatsoever, and it seems like the evil one still won. So you can go screw yourself." All right. Oh, let's see what Fergus has to say. My personal view is that there was foul play, and then he says, however, whether it was sufficient to flip the result, I am not sure. Well, okay, Fergus, since you're listening, we've got to get Tina Peters out, don't you think? That person who worked for the elections was I can't remember her role exactly. Epoch's Times has an extensive coverage of this. Oh, thanks. And you just wrote an article. I don't know if that probably has nothing to do with this, but Fergus Hodgson was just writing an article. He was telling me for the Epoch Times, and I'm sure that he will forward it to me so I get a chance to read it. Anyway, this Tina Peters, we have got to get her out of jail, and so that she can testify, because Arizona is one place in particular where there was a lack of transparency. My goodness, Arizona is just one of them. Is that not true? Yes, it is. Thanks, Fergus. I appreciate you chiming in. I really appreciate the comments. Thanks, sir. All right, let me just go through here. There was a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. Let me just see here. There was a bunch of stuff going on. So much stuff. Anyway, Tina Peters, I'm going to just see let me just pull it up here quickly. Tina Peters. Let's see what we can find. Trump pardons for Colorado election breach conviction. Here it is. Tina Peters backing up the election data before the bleach bitched the system clean, gave Americans a rare opportunity to analyze before and after the tampering, and it shows clear and deliberate manipulation of voting systems. Look at this. Now we know why the Democrat judge, Matthew Barrett, in her case refused nearly all of her evidence, witnesses, and defenses, then sentenced her to 9 years to rot in prison, because if this went nationwide, it would confirm Dominion also took part in the conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government in 2020. This is so huge, you guys. I don't know if you, I think you understand it, but there's so much coming out in the news, and this is on purpose, is that even massive stuff gets buried because there's something new that comes out, 5 seconds later. And we have the attention of a gnat. So we just, we continue to move like from one shiny thing to the next. Tina Peters says, and when they compared the two images, they discovered that election records had been deleted and altered, 29,000 of them. 29,000 of them. Anyway, I'm just looking forward to the day that we actually get to the truth. Tina Peters, we need you out. So free Tina Peters. All right, I'm moving on to Kelsi Sheren and MAID. I've talked about MAID. I've had a couple of people on. One lady had requested MAID and was turned down. And that was probably about a year and a half ago that I talked to her. She was a nurse. And anyway, it was quite an interesting episode talking about that whole process. And then I talked to another nurse that had some involvement in medical assistance in dying. Let's actually look at the statistics here first, and then we'll get into Kelsi Sheren. But this is what I pulled up on Google, and maybe we'll do some fun searching on Enoch AI after this. But over 76,000 Canadians have died by medical assistance in dying since it became legal in 2016, with 16,499 people receiving it in 2024 alone, making up about 5% of all Canadian deaths that year. The trend shows increasing numbers annually, primarily due to serious conditions like cancer. You know, one of the things that that Google doesn't say in here, and oh, there it is. No, that's not it. But oh, goodness gracious, what is going on? My browser lost connection to your screen share audio. Try sharing your screen again and restart your browser if this continues to be a problem. I gotta take a picture of this. Hang on one second, folks. I'm having some technical issues. Last night I lost audio. Tonight I'm looking at this thing and I gotta talk to StreamYard and talk to them about this. Let me just okay, so I'm going to unshare this and stop sharing, and then I'm going to share it again. Let's see if that helps. Okay, anyway, what I was getting to was Kelsi Sheren, who I'm going to show you the video of when she was on Alex Jones here most recently. I think it was a couple of days ago. But it's funny, and in case you don't know this about Google, but everything's censored. You can't actually find real information. But the stats are that MAID, the 96% of the 76,000 people are white. 96%. MAID is insane. Sorry, I'm going to just share this. MAID is insane. You're right, Fergus. It is insane. And you know what's even more insane is that people think that it's just so caring and loving, and it's appropriate. I mean, you know what? In some ways, I think it is something that someone can choose, just like having free speech. Maybe that's just something that you should be able to choose, but allowing and suggesting that people die. So we're going to listen to Kelsi. I won't get into it too much, but like suggesting that people kill themselves because they can't afford medical surgery or a procedure, or they can't afford to buy groceries is not right. And then also expanding MAID into including mentally ill or children, like they are calling it, the mature minors. So 12 years old, right? 12 years old is the target, or what they're heading towards. So this is actually, and I mentioned it on X, and I may have mentioned it the other night, but the idea is that the baby boomers are costing so much. Our governments, not just the liberals, not just the conservatives, because they're both corrupt and disgusting together, but they have done everything to rip us off, to completely bankrupt our country, morally bankrupt and financially bankrupt. And this is a way to save. Kelsi's going to get into the actual numbers, but remember this: 96% of the people murdered by your government through a doctor-assisted suicide are white people. The ads tend to be targeting white people as well. Anyway, so if you kill off this huge portion, or a large portion of the baby boomers, which was the biggest bubble of babies, you will also save your government lots and lots of money in care. So you'll save them in medical care, in home care, in nursing, in other areas. So I believe that that's what this is all about. Anyway, I'm going to bring Kelsi up here. I really want to get her on the show. If you know somebody that knows her, She's Canadian, obviously a veteran, and she is speaking out on this. Oh, come on, give me a break. Okay, I'm going to reshare this again to hopefully get this to work, because apparently StreamYard is having some issues. Sharing it again. Stand by. Let's play this.
Saving measure. Currently in Canada, this is across the board. We have track 1 and track 2. Let me be very clear. Track 1 is for terminally ill only. You have to have an irremediable and grievous condition that neither the government will be willing to explain or break down what it actually means. That came in 2016. It was supposed to be compassionate and empathetic. Track 2 started in 2021. Track 2 is for non-foreseeable death. Alex, I currently qualify as track 2. We've had individuals with diabetes and hearing loss who have qualified. We have friends of mine like Roger Foley who are sitting in hospitals in London, Ontario.
So if you have cataracts, they'll kill you.
Oh, absolutely. And so here's where
whereas they could just give you surgery.
Right, and so here's where
you got people they won't give surgeries and then kill.
Right, and so we'll talk about Joe Lane from Saskatchewan here soon. That Glenn Beck is flying down to America to get a surgery because Saskatchewan will not provide it and does not have an endocrinologist. But what I do want to point out is, and this is very, very important, in 2027, March of 2027, we are expanding to the mentally ill only, meaning veterans, homeless, vulnerable, addicts. And the fun fact that Dying with Dignity, these people who are these pro-death cults that attack me on every different platform saying I'm an idiot and I'm a liar and I'm misinformation, they're saying that we don't do this. Well, we have people on record in Toronto. We have people.
I've even seen the newscasts and all the recordings where like, I don't want to die. No, you need to. Here, sign the paperwork.
Absolutely, and that's the only solution they're giving to these problems. This is not just an issue around.
Well, we won't give you your back pain. Your back's broken.
Right.
We won't give you a surgery, but we'll kill you. I mean,
absolutely. And we'll do it. And here's how they do it, right? So this is the way that they think this is compassionate, empathetic. So they're going to lie you down in a chair somewhere. Ellen Wiebe, by the way, the most prolific killer in Canada. She has been a MAID doctor since 2016. Danielle Smith of Alberta, the premier of Alberta that people are ranting and raving about, which I love what she's doing, but here's what she just did. She just appointed the new public head of health for Alberta. He has been killing people since 2016. He's a MAID doctor. All he does is kill people. He wakes up every morning and go, how do I kill more people? This is also Ellen Wiebe. When you want to take a look at this, we have a problem. Do you remember how you were ranting and raving a long time ago about organs? They're going to steal the organs. They're going to buy the organs. Well, Canada now, Health Canada is now sponsoring the Canadian Blood Services to partner with CanMap, the Canadian Association of MAID Practitioners. They are even. I'll tell you why. They're the ones that are training all of your doctors and your nurses. So here's the numbers. Since 2016 has happened, Canada has killed over 92,000 vulnerable Canadians to date as of the end of last year.
And they're just gearing up.
And so here's a study that they pointed out. The Canadian press went after me after I went.
My point is, I've seen the numbers. They admit that was a beta test.
Oh, there's a beta.
So 90-something thousand is just the test.
And that's a small city. So let's take it even further to this step. So there was a study done by Western University, and they did an entire mock-up of what the Canadian government means to save and to actually kill. I said this on Jillian Michaels. They tried to discredit. When the journalists and the individuals who wrote this paper came out and stated that this was a if situation, it's no longer an if because these bills are on the table. In March of 2027, we're expanding to the mentally ill. And the AMAD report and the United Nations have come forward and stated that they are actually looking to expand to mature minors, which are children down to the age of 12. We know this.
And just to interrupt, they finally, though, earlier this year, had a balk when the Maine Physician Association kind of said, hey, we might not want to kill kids when the state is the guardian.
Right.
They said, oh, we'll put it off in 2017, but am I correct? They still snuck it back.
Oh, they're trying so hard to put it on the floor. And the reason we know this is because CanMap does a conference every single year, and they're dumb enough to put all of the names of their speakers up there. Here's what's a kicker for so many people, and they hate when I say it, so let's say it nice and loud. There's an individual named Adam that runs Sick Kids Hospital, and he actually did a conference at CanMap last year where he did an entire talk advocating for mature minors, which is down to the age of 12. Now,
that's where they take away the age of consent for pedophilia or everything, where they can then trick kids.
Yes, and so here's where it gets worse. In 2022, in the National Post article, the head of the College of Physicians of Quebec suggested we should be killing 0 to 1 for spinal bifida, for Down syndrome, and for all of these other ailments.
Slow down on that. That's pure eugenics.
This has been eugenics from the start, since 2016. In 1990, when Dying with Dignity was created, which is the CEO, Helen Long, they love when I say their names, when they actually came forward, they said, we're going to keep lobbying. So here's what's absolutely insane. I broke this last week on my Substack. I got a hold of a FOIA document, and in 2021, we have current sitting Elizabeth May, MP, in our parliament right now working. I have documents that I sent to your team here. When you look at the FOIA, you have multiple MPs and individuals lobbying the government illegally and stating, this individual, a non-resident, non-citizen, non-taxpayer of Canada, we're going to bring her into the country and we're going to MAID her, even though it's illegal.
So it's now making it a government murder destination.
Oh, it's always been.
And by the way, I saw another statistic you talked about. I looked up, it was true.
Yeah.
And again, like the big thing killing black people is abortion. Like half the blacks get aborted.
Right.
But it's self-hating whites, we know that, are mainly on all the drugs and under the control, and liberals. It's mainly liberals. And what, 94% white people kill themselves?
96% white people. Yeah, 96% of
So not only are white liberals not having kids, they're all killing themselves.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are literally in a cult.
Well, what happens when you bring in
white liberals are kind of a problem. Okay, maybe this is good.
Well, it's because...
I'm sorry, I'm joking. Why would the liberal leftist government be killing all the liberals? I mean, this is literally a death cult.
Because this is what happens when you bring in 1.2 million people last year alone from India, Pakistan, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and you say, you know what, we're going to give you tax breaks. Up here on the document.
So say that again. 96% of the people they're killing are white.
Are white. Last year alone was 16,499. The year before that was 15,341. The year before that was over 10,000. So we are constantly, 13,000.
And they use psychological warfare to rope you into it.
And here's why they do it and how they do it. Out of all of the MAID assessors and practitioners, I call them killers, we have 1,800 in the country. And roughly 300 of those people are doing all of the killing. And this new head of public
That was my next question. People ask, why is she excited? That's how I am. When you learn this, you want to warn people. So I'm glad you're so far. I can tell you, I've researched this. You're dead on and know more than I do about it. But if you go back, if you looked at Jack Kevorkian.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, he was their original post. So I was watching PBS in high school, like 17 here in Austin. I'll never forget it. And he was on 60 Minutes, or it was PBS, it was one of the two. I think it was 60 Minutes. And he was talking about how much he loves death and the Grim Reaper. We got to find that old interview. You guys find Jack Kevorkian. I think it was 60 Minutes. It was 60 Minutes because I watched it at my grandparents' house. They lived here. And he goes, I love demons.
Yep.
And he goes, I painted all of these demons eating babies with my own blood. And it's demons eating babies. We can show it because it's cartoon, but it's pornographic. It's babies coming out of women with a demon, a devil eating the baby. But I'm just saying, so knowing about these scientists, because I know about a lot of the abortion people, it's come out, not all of them, but some of them, it turns out, are Satanists. Yeah. And they do it because they want it, it's before they can do evil. But did you know about Kevorkian basically being a Satanist? Oh, yeah. Guys, type in Jack Kevorkian's artwork. I mean, it is scary as hell.
It's very dark.
So I'm just saying, this is a Satan. So here, long question.
Yeah.
So knowing how it's a handful of these doctors that get off on it, what's their MO?
Well, here's the thing. They're the most compassionate, most empathetic, the most beautiful. They don't want to have you suffer because how dare you, Kelsi?
But they paint demons eating babies.
Well, I mean, because this is what happens. Literally, Ellen Wiebe, the most prolific MAID provider in the country, has killed, and I'm not exaggerating, I've been in the room in Salt Spring Island when she admitted to killing over 1,000 people, bragging how she was doing it and going into Jewish nursing homes when they did not qualify and killing them and getting away with it. She currently has 2 criminal cases against her. And
well, we've seen the famous cases where 98% of violent crime is men, except in medical stuff. It's these weird subgroup of nurses that like to kill babies.
Well, so here's what's crazy. Those are called healthcare serial killers. Dr. Christopher Lyon out of York University, dear friend.
So these are healthcare serial killers that are creating illegal age.
Yes, and do you know how they get away with it? It's a self-reporting system in Canada. So say you kill a bunch of people illegally, you go over to the next hospital. Well, that doesn't follow you. Nobody knows about it. And try to get a doctor charged with it.
And they got fellow cult members. As a kid. And he thought he was signed up for a NASA feeder program. And they sent him as his first job at 14 to MD Anderson Cancer Research. So when I'm growing up, my dad's telling me about this since he got out of it later. And he figured out what it was. It was DARPA. It was, but I didn't work for the CIA guys. It was DARPA. It was above that. And he said it was all just to see with young people who would kill people. Because these people had signed over their lives with terminal cancer. And he would watch these scientists inject people and kill them. And he said, like, basically have orgasms while they killed them.
And so we have records of that, right? So
okay, so my dad saw this.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
And they were trying to, like, Bill Gates people got put in those programs and liked it. Fauci liked it.
Yeah.
My dad got out of it.
So here's a great example. Dr. Stephanie Green is the one who started CanMap.
That's why Fauci says, kill hundreds of beagles, remove their larynxes, put flesh-eating worms on them. Yeah. They go, what's the matter? He's like, we're just seeing if you'll do it.
We'll just see if we'll do it. Because let's see how far we can push the
It's a ritual.
Body. Absolutely. Let's see how far we can push the human body. And so this is the thing that I try to explain to
I don't keep interrupting you. I'm just backing you up.
Please.
But I'm just saying, folks, like what I said about my dad sounds crazy. You're not a witness, so you don't know if it's true. The beagle thing is true.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are we killing beagles? To see if you'll, look, people sliding into hell. See if you can find the demon eating the baby. This is Kevorkian's artwork. This is the guy that loves you and wants to kill you because he loves you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead.
No. Here, I want to point these things out because it's so damn important for people to understand. They are targeting the most vulnerable. We now have FOIA documents pointing out that some of these doctors have gotten a hold of the locations of the list of the nursing home individuals who are on wait lists so they can target them. So
they show up like literal Grim Reapers.
Dying with dignity.
Wraiths.
Wait until your family has left the hospital room and creep their ass in, and they will be like, Alex.
And they've been recorded. You're not just, you have all the recordings.
I have audio recordings. I have videos. I've written testimonies. I have over 20 veterans. I testified in the Senate about a month ago, okay?
All right, it looks like we may have lost audio on Kelsi Sheren, and I will stop sharing and we will put that back up again. All right, so yes, Kelsi Sheren doing great work, bringing awareness to this insidious medical assistance in dying and forcing it on veterans, forcing it on people that have little to no ability to, everything from not being able to pay for their groceries, pay for their rent. They're living on AISH. They're completely disabled, completely dependent on the government. And of course, that will save the government lots of money, right? So that they can continue to give it to places like the Ukraine so they can, buy more bombs and send your children off to war next, because that's important. Anyway, I wanted to show you just a couple other things in regard to, let me see here, one moment. Let me share this with you. This is not this. This is from pro-life campaigner in Canada is raising awareness, especially among young people, of the dangers of assisted suicide. Dying to Meet You is the name of our organization, and it seeks to reshape the conversation around death and people's inherent worth. Founder Amanda Ackman explains her concerns over the growing support of euthanasia in Canada and why the topic is so personal to her. Let's just listen to
the exceptional life you've lived, because you don't become part of an exceptional cohort in death, but rather a statistic that has contributed to making Canada the euthanasia capital of the world. What we're seeing in Canada is the direct, deliberate ending of life within 15 minutes, reducing a person's death to an appointment that conveniently suits the lives of others. And when people express the desire for it, I do not believe they are so much expressing the desire to die as they are betraying a real disappointment in their heart. I was working in the office of a member of parliament a few years ago, trying to prevent the legislative expansion of euthanasia on the basis of disability and mental illness. It was very challenging to be a Christian pro-life political staffer, knowing that this law expanding euthanasia was a foregone conclusion and going to pass anyway. And that inspired me to think, what can I do personally to contribute toward a culture of life in Canada? So I started blogging and having casual conversations every day with Canadians about these topics of end of life and trying to find a humanizing angle. So now through writing, speaking, producing short films, and cooperating with different dioceses across Canada. I call them diocesan activation weeks, where a bishop will invite me and I'll give formation and facilitate intergenerational activities across Canada. and increasingly be invited to speak around the world, there's such a need and a hunger to engage these topics, because really not a day goes by that I do not hear about how euthanasia is affecting people personally.
Wow. Thank you for your work, Amanda Ackman, I think is her name. Ackman. Yeah. All right. Let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. Well, obviously, I want to talk about. Sorry, I'm going to stop sharing that. Obviously, I want to talk about Alberta independence in general. So, just to remind you that we have to get our running shoes on and we have to be prepared. So, as far as I know, January 11th is the date that we start the petition. Obviously, we'll be running out the door, and we need everybody to get activated. And if you're listening to this, you need to be gathering signatures for this when the time comes. So be prepared, because it is so critical. And I'm going to remind everybody, this is not, we're not just doing it for our own benefit. We're not doing it for dollars and cents. We are doing it for the success and the prosperity and the opportunities for our children and our children's children for generations to come. This is a very pivotal moment in our history, a huge, huge time in our history. And where was that? Hang on one second. I've got something here I wanted to share. Actually, that Fergus Hodgson had just sent or had just commented on. And now I'm just looking for it. Where the heck is it? It's on the Substack. And where's my Substack now? I'm going to find it here. So just bear with me for a second. Oh, yeah, I started a chat. And the chat was... Let's just take a look at the questions here. Here's, my question was, what are your thoughts? What thoughts do you have in regard to the sovereign movement of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec? And Fergus Hodgson wrote, as I wrote on X, I believe Alberta independence is the most important movement for freedom on the planet. When it passes, it will be the biggest rejection of centralized predation we have seen in easily a generation. It will also reflect populism in the healthiest sense of the word, since it is 100% grassroots, people informing themselves, realizing they are being ripped off, and peacefully opting out. Well, Fergus, it looks like you've got yourself another invitation to come on Unscrew the News, because it looks like we need to discuss this further and to dig in deeper, talk about Alberta independence and what that means, because obviously we need everybody to understand their meaning. So it's not just doing it to fill a page and put signatures onto a page. The passion has to be there. You have to understand that this is so important. Oh, thanks for reposting, Fergus. I see that you've got reposted me there. Thanks for doing that. And Katrina, she's moving here apparently. Katrina, yeah, come on over. If you want small government, if you want to own your own business and or just have a job, and if you want to build a great nation of prosperity, success, of utilizing our resources, obviously in a way that's obviously not just raping and pillaging the land. But if you want that, if you want a small government, and if you want to help your neighbors and grow to have a great place of mutual respect, law and order, and a wonderful place for your children to grow up where they have the possibility of owning a home, of owning a business, and being successful, and not having to worry about rampant crime. That is going to be Alberta. We're going to have the most beautiful walls. We're going to create the most beautiful walls. We'll have a fantastic list of potential people that want to come to Alberta, because you won't just be able to walk in, because that's how you create your nation. You actually have to have some walls. You have to have some restrictions. You have to have law and order. You have to have equal law and order, not because of the skin color, but meritocracy. Meritocracy is the bedrock of what makes Alberta amazing. It is people that want to create, want to grow, want to beautify, and have respect and admiration for their neighbors and their friends, and for their family, and for their other patriots that live with them. That is really the crux of what I believe Alberta is going to be about. So anyway, I want you to have your running shoes tied up. Make sure that you have you're talking in advance. Let's do this in advance. We know we need to have our list of people and our list of friends that are kind of interested, but maybe you need to talk to them now so that they're ready, so that when the petition comes around, you've got them on your list of potentials, right? And start making your list today. Start talking to your coworkers, your friends, about the benefits of freedom, of out from underneath the boot of Ottawa. That's what we need to start talking about today, so that when the petition comes around on January 11th, you are ready to get out there and get them. Because if we can get 1 million people, 1 million signatures on a petition, guess what? When the referendum comes around in fall, we will pretty much have the numbers that we need. So I'm guessing that we probably need 1.5 million for the referendum to go through. And then once the referendum, we have the numbers for that. All we need is, I'm guessing that the United States, they're going to acknowledge us as a nation, and we're off to the races at that point. So, well, I appreciate you being here and listening. And I appreciate you being in the fight, being a part of this patriotic move to create our own nation. And remember, it's not an us versus them stance that we need. It's a us versus the globalists that want to control you, that want to have a digital ID, that want to have a digital dollar, so that they can control, track, and trace everything that you do. So facial recognition. You know what? I have something here. I want to find a bookmark that I just bookmarked. You got to see this. I'm going to show this one. Where did it go? Bombshell. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Oh yeah, here it is. No, you know what? There's two. Oh, shit, London really looks like a third world country. Check this out. I'm going to share this. Just a couple of things to end off with, so stand by. All right, this is a post of London. It says, holy Nikes, London literally looks like a third world country. Coming soon to New York City. This is London. Wow. Wow. That is way worse than I even thought. Way worse. All right. And then I wanted to show you this in regard to the digital ID and facial recognition. We've all seen what they're up to in the UK with that.
Where there's a facial recognition van, you've covered your whole face up like that.
This man didn't want to be caught by the police cameras, so he covered his face. Police stopped him, they photographed him anyway,
There's no law. There's no law against covering your face. Yeah, okay, well there you go. You let him go then.
Well, maybe
we see your face?
Maybe it's because I don't consent to being on there.
Oh, right. Okay, why's that?
Because I think it's a bit of a government overreach.
Oh, right, okay. That's fine. Can we take your details down? Is that all right?
Don't cover my face, I cover my face. Don't push me over when I'm walking down the street.
The police said this was disorderly behaviour, so they gave him a fine.
I've got a now £90 fine. There you go, look at that.
You let them know that he's got a right to cover his face and he can walk away.
The thing is, we live in a country which is free. We don't have to carry ID. So we don't live in a state where the police have the right to see your ID willy-nilly. This takes away my freedom because you're IDing me without...
Isn't that crazy? Well, coming to Canada, coming to New York, coming to the rest of the world, it is definitely coming. So say no to the digital ID, say no to the digital dollar, do not take the CBDCs. And as I say at the beginning of the show, you know, buy gold and silver. I think it's really important to hold in your hand and to have to protect your family's wealth. Not for me. This is for you, only because I think it's important for families to do. Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you for being here. We have got lots more to talk about. You will probably not see me tomorrow night. I might play a recording, but you will not see me tomorrow night. But I have lots of other interesting guests. I've got Jason Levine coming up next Wednesday. Wednesday night, he and I will be obviously talking about Alberta independence. He'll be having a meeting with Mickey Amory, the Justice Minister for the UCP, the night before. So we'll definitely be getting into talking about that. And I've got a lot of other very, very interesting guests coming up. One of them being Fergus Hodgson. He's got to come on here in the next little while so we can talk more with him on Alberta independence. And I am so blessed that you're here. So make sure to get this out, get some more eyeballs on this information. Wake up, more Canadians. Wake them up, please. We've got to shake them out of their brainwashed media fog that they're in. Anyway, let's stay sane together, you guys. Keep your head on a swivel. This is Bruce, and I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.